Nonsense started Raw this week, and as I've been told my whole life, I am all about nonsense. Also, hello my friends, welcome to Ups and Downs for Monday Night Raw, and before we do get into it, I just have some housekeeping for you, because WrestleMania is around the corner, and if you are going and you want to hang out with the WhatCulture team, do we have some events for you? Because in the Aurora Bar in the Luxor Hotel, which is the closest hotel casino to Allegiant Stadium, you can come down and you can join us for a SmackDown watch party where we'll have a good old time, but also we are going to do the live ups and downs for WrestleMania Night 1 and WrestleMania Night 2 there as well, and you can come along and you can have a good time. And if you need more information, go to whatculture.com/tickets right now. There's also some other big events happening over WrestleMania weekend at the Luxor Hotel/Casino, so check out their website right now for details. But yes, once again, when you have watched Night 1 and Night 2 of WrestleMania and you want to come have some dumb fun, make sure you come down to the Aurora Bar. And if you don't have tickets to SmackDown, you can do that as well. So I expect to see you there. And also, thank you very much to Surfshark. They sponsored this video. More on that later. Right, with that out of the way, we did just have the penultimate Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania. So was it any good, or did it suck? Let's up those down. But yes, going back to all that nonsense, Adam Pearce was in the ring, and he was like, oh, hi, I'm really sorry. About last week, I made a huge mistake. And I was like, Adam, I could have told you that 7 days ago. It was quite funny though, because he got Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair in the ring. He was like, why on earth did I ever let you try and sort your problems out? You lot are not professional enough. He then did say it's going to be a triple threat at WrestleMania, and yes, the build and the story to get here has been absolutely redonkulous, because we could have just sorted this out a few weeks ago, and instead we did the equivalent of Google mapping to our own house. Like we knew where we wanted to be, but we went to the shop and then realized we don't need any groceries. I don't know what we're talking about. Now, I do appreciate the fact that WWE tried something different and you can't always hit a home run. And even though Adam Pearce just wanted them to sign the contract, Bianca Belair was like, nope, I'm going to talk to you first, Rhea Ripley, because man, am I sick of you trying to eke your way into everything. But you know what? I have come to terms with it now. So yeah, sign the deal, and I'm going to whip your ass. Ripley then tried to respond, but Bianca cut her off once again, and she put her name on the dotted line. She shoved the contract into Rhea Ripley, and she signed it too. And these two kind of got into each other by chucking inanimate objects around the place. What else would you do? The usual madness then happened because Io Sky tried to get involved, but she got totally mugged off. And at one point it looked like she was going to leave. Adam was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for this to go down. And Sky was like, ha ha, don't worry about it. And she started to throw in some bones. Or to sum it right up, she drop-kicked Bianca right into Rhea, and the commentators made the story very clear too. Io Sky, despite being the champion, feels like the third wheel. It did mean that Rhea and Bianca were left laying as Io stood tall, and it kind of felt like we should have done one of those big old brawls here. But do not forget, we do have one Raw to go. It was fine though, and while there are more holes in this than a whack-a-mole, I must say, it was entertaining in a very strange way, but we've talked about the negatives as we have got here, so let's focus on the positives. I really do think this three-way could steal the show at WrestleMania if they are given time, and I also can't actually call who is going to win. You may have heard my Bianca Belair crazy idea, and if not, I'm doing a whole video about that soon, but I am going to give it an up. I do think it could have been better, but in terms of what we did here, it was perfectly fine. I also do want to point out that when Adam Pearce introduced Rhea Ripley, he said, representing Judgment Day. I was like, Adam, it's been about a year. I have no idea what happened.
Before we go any further, this video is brought to you by Surfshark. Using a VPN like Surfshark is a bit like wearing pants. All the important stuff stays private and secure when you're out and about online. Thanks, Surfshark! Not only that, but we've all spent an evening scrolling through Netflix just because you can't find something you want to watch. Well, with Surfshark, you can change your virtual location to access all your favorite content. Whether that be your favorite US TV shows or a movie that you are desperate to watch, but for some reason is only available in Peru. Cheers, Peru! First Paddington, now this, you're alright. Plus, you can minimize buffering and lag with fast, reliable connections and enjoy seamless streaming with unlimited bandwidth for all users. They also offer over 3,200 different servers in over 100 locations. I mean, there is no way you could guess them all. I adore all their different locations. I mean, for Surfshark, I Uzbekistan.
Are you finished?
Yeah, let's go. I'm hungry. They also offer 24/7 customer support and a 30-day money-back guarantee. And why not check out Surfshark Alert 2, a breach detection system that notifies you of personal data leaks. Click the link in the description or use code CULTUREWRESTLING at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. And now, back to the video.
They just told everybody that the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania is going to be Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominik Mysterio, and I was going to have a breakdown until thankfully we got the Judgment Day segment that set that up. I mean, why didn't we do this the other way around? Because we were in the back with the Day of Judgment, and yes, Liv Morgan was like, oh, I'm so happy we got Dominik in there. Because Finn, you'll totally agree with this. Why have one Judgment Day member in the match when you can have 2? Now, Finn clearly didn't like this, but he wasn't going to say anything, and he was like, that is right. Although we do need to address the rumors, and Dom, you know, I just want to put it out there, a lot of people are saying you're a massive loser. He then basically stormed off as Carlito made it very clear, I have your back, Mr. Condom. And I actually quite like this, because it is nice and simple stuff. And honestly, now we are this close, I think Dominik Mysterio should win the Intercontinental Championship by beating Finn Balor via nefarious means, probably with the help of Carlito, which not only gets Finn out of the Judgment Day, but Braun Breaker, he will blow his top like a volcano. I think that would be very good. Speaking of that title too, it was then time to sort everything with the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And I'll tell you, my friends, I do not get this at all. Because it was Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria, and honestly, if we are doing it here, and it had a very straight finish, I can only assume that Bayley and Lyra are going to be in the women's tag team title match instead. I do not understand why we can't do both. Doesn't make any sense to me. It is 2 + 2 = potato, and this women's IC title, I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but it just doesn't have very much importance, because WWE isn't allowing it to have importance. It was like me when I was a child, therefore it's getting it down. As for the match though, it was really good. I mean, it was a little bit wibbly wobbly at first, but that's okay, they found their feet. I tell you, Lyra was going for the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment surprise roll-up, and when that didn't work, Bayley was like, well, I'm gonna do it too, 1, 2, 0. The fans actually did get into this as well after a while, which I was impressed with, because again, this title kind of feels like it has been thrown out to the side. And at one point, I think Valkyria applied what she called the Irish swing or something like that. It did not look fun when Bayley was like, haha, I'm gonna do a half Boston Crab. And later she was like, no, I'm gonna do a full Boston Crab, which left me totally confused. I mean, she is not from Boston. Eventually Bayley hit a neck breaker too when they spilt to the outside, and she hit a Bayley to belly. So we were teasing, she's going to win. I don't think anybody believed it. She was able to kick out of the Nightwing though, so we were giving her something, and she hit a sunset bomb before we also got a tornado DDT when they kind of scrabbling on the ground, and you could just smell what was going to happen. So after she did give up on her second Boston Crab, she went for the Rosebud. Lara was like, I'm sorry, my friend. And she did hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. 1, 2, 3. We even had something ridiculous after this too, because Bayley shoved Lyra like, haha, I'm not your friend anymore, when she got back into the ring and she gave her a hug. So this was either a tease or it's a double tease. We're gonna have to see what is gonna go down on SmackDown. But we talked about all that other stuff, and listen, it was a good match. They are both very good wrestlers. Just don't see why we couldn't have done this at WrestleMania. It's like a bee in my bonnet, but up. Kathy Kelly was then interviewing comedian Burt Kreischer, because we do need more celebrities on WWE TV, when Chad Gable walked in and basically said, I don't like you being here. I mean, we never really found out much more because Otis walked in and he whipped his top off. So Burt also whipped his top off. Now listen, the law of averages tells us at least one person in the world tuned in to Monday Night Raw at this time, and it is the first thing of wrestling they have ever seen. So now they think sports entertainment is dudes just whipping off their clothes. Actually, maybe that's a pretty good description. Jackie Redmond was then interviewing AJ Styles too, and man, did she troll him. She was like, you are feuding with Logan Paul? Well, it's not going very well, is it? Styles promised us that come WrestleMania he was going to embarrass Logan Paul, which is when Karrion Kross walked in. My gosh, was he the bringer of truth? He was like, listen, Aj, you absolutely cannot lose, because if you lose, we all lose. Ain't that the truth? AJ didn't want to hear this though, because he was winding him up, so he was like, fine, I will take you on next week on Raw. That must be Karrion's first match on TV in ages. Now listen, after Styles had stormed off, Scarlett was all like, we're doing it, Karrion. I'm a little worried that it is going to be Karrion Kross helping Logan Paul, which stops AJ Styles at WrestleMania. We watch this space. When American Made defeated the LWO, and this feud is just totally mad. So of course it was the Creeds and El Grande Americano taking on Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, and Dragon Lee. Just from those names alone, you knew who was gonna win. Bruce and Julius did take over to begin with when Wilde started to throw in some shots, but almost instantly, we got the tag klaxon, and everybody started to fight. This match has barely begun. Why do we not care about the rules? It was mostly so the LWO could hit all the dives because it is 2025. This is when I had an epiphany. I was like, wait a minute. This means at some point behind the scenes, Chad Gable had sat down the Creeds and Ivy Nile, who was at ringside, and said, listen, here's my big plan for WrestleMania. I'm gonna wear a mask and I'm gonna pretend I'm a luchador. And these three goofs went, boss, that's a great idea. So they're all insane. The bad guys then saw these dives and thought, well, maybe we can do that with superplexes, which they did do. And essentially that just meant they could beat up the bad guys, for Del Toro's hand got really warm. Hot tag, go wild. It was El Grande who stopped that, but then Dragon Lee snapped him with a power bomb when Julius was just coming off with his flippy stuff off the top rope. And honestly, given his size, it's mightily impressive. Wilde then did his mega dive. That still remains one of the craziest things you're ever going to see, because he basically landed in Gibraltar, which is when we got one of the funniest things on the whole show. Because El Grande went to Ivy Nile and she essentially passed him a brick and he stuck it up his mask before he headbutted Rey Mysterio, who was out with his boys, and he went to the top rope and he hit a diving headbutt, and of course he did have this steel plate on his face, so surprisingly he got the 1, 2, 3. It's quite the creative finish. He also did this to Dragon Lee, so they must have come up with a great plan, because how else do you stop a dragon? And it does kind of feel like WWE has backed off a little bit when it comes to the El Americano Grande stuff, which is not his name. And that probably is the best thing, because when you watch wrestling, you want to be distracted. You don't want to be reminded of the crazy, crazy real world. Later on, too, Rey Mysterio went to Adam Pearce and said, this guy is just taking the piss out of everything I stand for. I was like, yeah, that is a good point. Why don't you have a match at WrestleMania? So let's get rid of all the shenanigans. This is going to be Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable on the grandest stage of them all. And honestly, my dudes, if that is bad, I will grow my hair back, which actually can't happen. But the point is, it's going to be brilliant. So even though it's been the wackiest road to get there, all of it is getting an up. I am excited. When it was time to build to our WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, flub me sideways, WWE did a good job. So we got a recap of what Gunther had done to Jimmy Uso last week, when Gunther was coming to the ring, and you would have thought he just became best friends with Santa Claus. He could not have been happier. Now, he wasn't able to talk because Jey Uso interrupted him, and even though Jey came to the crowd, he was really serious here, to the point he got in the ring, he knocked the microphone out of the champion's hand. So once again, sometimes the simplest things are the most effective. When Jey said to Gunther, do you have a mum? I was like, oh no, he's gone totally off script. Of course, Jey had a point, because Gunther does have a mum and Gunther does have a family, and I bet you caught up with them in the week. Well, I did that too, and do you know what the discussion with my mother was? How is your brother Jimmy, who is now in the hospital? He also revealed that Jimbo has had 15 stitches put in his head, and said my mother called me Joshua, which is a real name, and the question that came after that is, why didn't you help him? Oh my gosh, that got me right in the tum-tum. Now, Jey said he never lied to his mother, and he's not going to start now, so he gave her the real answer, which is, he is scared of Gunther, and he didn't know what to do. Now, seriously, this was so good because it got you once again. I was also a bit like, yeah, Jey, I get that, but also, you were handcuffed to the rope. I think you probably should have thrown that in first. The whole point, though, is that Gunther has had his number up to this point, but when he saw what he did to his family, and he saw the blood coming from Jimmy's head, all of a sudden he went through some kind of change, and now he's like, you know what? I ain't fearful of you anymore, and come WrestleMania, I'm gonna whoop your tuchus. He then went on and cut this great promo when he was like the night before WrestleMania, I'm gonna get down on my knees and pray for you, because the things that I'm gonna do to you are gonna be so flubbed up, well, somebody's gonna have to grant me forgiveness. I was like, damn it, Jey, you point at the wall and I'll run through it. Therefore, he shall walk into that big old show for his family, and he will walk out with the championship. And seriously, this has to happen now. I don't think I can support anybody more. He also basically threw the mic at Gunther and then stared at him, because that's what wrestlers do. And there you go, all you negative Nancy's who are like, oh man, Jey Uso just says yeet all the time. He didn't say yeet once, and he was just meant this deep down in his tootsie toes. It's the most believable he has been, and he was great at it. Don't forget that Gunther said nothing as well, which also worked. So yeah, Jimmy Uso died so the Jey Uso-Gunther feud could live, but I am absolutely giving it an up. Just the way you build a match. Natalia and Maxine Dupree were then talking to Adam Pearce. I was just like, what do you even need to discuss? You got into this #1 women's tag team gauntlet, and you two haven't even had a match. This is when Rey Mysterio stormed in and got his Chad Gable / El Grande Americano match, which I can't wait when, yes, Tony Hinchcliffe joined commentary. Now I'm just going to give this a down because actually I didn't think this worked at all. And really, I don't know what happened on this evening, but the commentary between Michael Cole and Pat McAfee was really weird. Like during the Lyra Valkyria and Bayley match, they spent half the time going, oh my gosh, this is a moment. This is so great. Everybody should love this. It's like, you've gone way too far, man. You've become like exposition heads. You can't smash that into my face. You have to let it breathe. Also, Tony had lines like, Michael Cole's been doing commentary since David versus Goliath. I was like, that's all you could come up with? You sound like me. Down. They were also talking over the fact we were about to have a tag team title match because it was the War Raiders versus the New Day. Once again, I was like, well, why aren't we holding this until WrestleMania? But actually, given the aftermath, well, I think this one may work. Now, it does feel a little bit rushed, and I think the fans kind of agree because they didn't get massively into it. No one actually believed that Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston were going to win. But they are so good as heels, because as soon as Kofi was on the back foot, he just left, and he caused a bit of a fuss. Woods then pretended he was ready to go, but it was a little bit of a ruse so they could get to Eric. So once again, especially given what we are about to talk about, come WrestleMania, they have to win in the worst way possible. Now, none of their plan did actually work because the War Raiders decided, well, we're going to use each other as human projectiles, and they squished the New Day when they took Woods and they smashed him on the outside. It then got so strange because the New Day just threw a chair into the ring, and this is when Ivar and Xavier Woods were fighting over it, but as soon as the referee turned around, I think Ivar just had like a demon possess him because he went boop and he hit Xavier Woods right in the tum-tum. So the referee was like, well, that was stupid, wasn't it? You just got disqualified. Now, if we had left it there, I would have given it down, but actually what we did do is the New Day grabbed these chairs. They went totally crazy on Eric and Ivar, went after their necks, and both of those guys have had real-life problems with it, when Kofi was like, well, I'm going to give you a top rope Pillmanizer right onto your face. This is when the useless wrestling security finally were like, well, we should probably go out there and stop it. So now I'm thinking at WrestleMania, maybe do some kind of weird stipulation like a chairs match, but the New Day have to win. And they have to win using super violence. We need to take this heel turn and run it all the way to town. So I am going to give the build a down because, again, it just feels like it's come out of nowhere. This was a well-executed angle. Honestly, it was totally flubbed up. And Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston as just these insane people. Well, yeah, it definitely ticks a box. So let's get this on WrestleMania and let's make it work. And then let's build the tag division, all 3 tag divisions, as we do come out the other side. I just think they could use a little bit more depth. Penta then defeated Dominik, and actually that excites me. So if you have been watching WWE for a while, you know if somebody is about to win a championship, they lose. Now Dom does kind of fit into a special little box, because he could probably be defeated for the rest of his career and still be a success. But now I am hoping. Now Dom was doing well until he decided to pose, so Penta him with a backstabber. Because Carlito was being a dickhead on the outside, Penta remembered it was 2025, so he went and did a dive. That's a mega rhyme, so it must be true. Mysterio was able to get the 3 amigos in, but he went for the 619. He got super kicked right in the face. And Penta then decided, well, I'm going to go for my destroyer. Mysterio was like, nope, I'm going to hit you with a destroyer instead. I enjoyed this muchly. He also went for his frog splash, but Penta was able to get the knees up. When he saw Dominik's flailing arm, he gave him the sacrifice and he hit him with the Penta driver. 1, 2, 3. See what I mean? Whoop. Clean as a whistle. Of course, Carlito jumped in right away because that's what the Judgment Day do. When Braun Breaker came out, I was supposed to murder all these guys, and I kid you not, he ran up the aisleway and he jumped for his spear on Carlito around about 422 miles away, but he still murdered him. It could very well be one of the best spears you ever see. He also took out Dominik and Penta because he doesn't care anymore. All is fair in love and war when it comes to the Intercontinental title. When Finn Balor jumped him, and given that he is a veteran, he ran away at the right time, and he held the title above his head. So yes, sure, this year's WrestleMania is totally obsessed with multi-person matches. But this one works for me because I do think it has the jeopardy. And also, I do actually think we could end up in a world where Dominik Mysterio cheats, he pins Finn Balor, that takes Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day, and Braun Breaker is super duper pissed. All of this is good story stuff. I am giving it up. Which is when it happened. We have talked about this for the last few weeks. Eventually, this CM Punk Roman Reigns Seth Rollins feud was going to find its footing. I mean, that basically kicked off on SmackDown. And in terms of what we did on this Raw, draw a line under it because we're there. Now, Paul Heyman kicked things off and he wanted to address SmackDowns. He was like, do not get me wrong. I will always be loyal to my tribal chief Roman Reigns, but also I'll also be loyal to CM Punk, my best friend. I was like, Paul, that's not how it works. That's like going to your mistress and your wife and saying, don't worry, everybody can get along. They ain't going to agree to that. He was then about to go on and say at WrestleMania he will make one thing clear, when Seth Rollins interrupted. I was like, Seth, not now. He was about to give us the goods. Now, Rollins thankfully called Heyman on his BS because he was like, what you just said doesn't make any sense. You can't have it both ways, bro, and you are going to have to choose. He then did lay it in, though, because he was like, well, you can't pick Roman Reigns because that guy doesn't give a damn about you. Do you remember what happened after WrestleMania 40 when I helped Roman lose his WWE title? That guy vanished. And did he bring you with you, Paul? No, he didn't. And instead, he allowed you to be thrown through a table, courtesy of Solo Sikoa and friends. I was like, well, that is very true. It was then CM Punk's turn as well because they started talking about the Survivor Series and War Games. And was CM Punk the first people that was asked? No, he was not. Seth Rollins was the guy, and he turned it down. And the only reason Punk agreed to help Paul Heyman is because he wanted this favor. Because again, did he help you before that? No. And did he tell you he was going to walk out of WWE 10 years ago? No, he doesn't think about you at all. So once again, these two guys are only out for themselves. And honestly, Seth Rollins was so damn good here. He's essentially turned into Drew McIntyre. He is going to tell you the truth. Now, Rollins actually does feel for Paul Heyman because he is accidentally wound up right in the middle of this. And actually, the match would be better if it was just these guys fighting for the soul of WWE. It's like, we've had enough soul talk for 2025. But Seth does have a good plan because Paul, I can take you out of the match right now with a quick stomp. So essentially, he was threatening to kill him. Rollins, they got really nasty here too, because he was like, oh, Paul Heyman, how much is this worth to you? And he was pushing him, and he was shoving him, and he was getting in his face. And Heyman must have been scared here, because eventually he was like, take your hands off me. I was like, Paul, I respect that, but now you're gonna die. Eventually, Rollins charged him into the corner, and only then did CM Punk came out. So either one, he was watching this going, nah, I'm gonna give it a few beats, or he's in the bathroom or something. And of course, these two started to fight. CM Punk threw Seth Rollins into sympathy still steps, but when Rollins got back in the ring, and Punk chased him, boom, curb stomp. Heyman then freaked out and he went to his best friend to try to help him, but he was in the stomp position, and Seth was going to do this when he stopped himself, not stomped, he stopped himself, and he grabbed a microphone and he said to Paul, well, look what I just did. I didn't murder you, so you know what, Mr. Heyman? Now you owe me a favor too. Cut to credits. Now, no, that is not how a favor works, but look at it from Paul Heyman's point of view. This is essentially a threat or blackmail, whatever you want to call it. He doesn't want to get destroyed, so maybe deep down in his tum-tum he does freak out, and he decides to help Seth Rollins. It's just so smart from a story point of view, because Heyman could help Punk, Heyman could help Roman, and now we have the logic that he could also help out Seth too. Rollins also looks so proud, and honestly, this was some of his best work, and this is the character I want him to lean into coming out of WrestleMania. I mean, he does come across like a psychopath, but also everything he says comes from a really real place. So I am going to give it an up. And we just took a bunch of Jeopardy and we injected it into this thing to the point Paul Heyman could help Seth Rollins wins, as Rollins does do a massive heel turn. I don't think I would mind that at all. So the whole thing is just leveled up a lot, and you should absolutely find 15 minutes today, and it is some of Seth's best work, and he is just bringing it. And overall, apart from a few flubby-wubby bits, I actually thought this Raw was pretty good, although next week we do need to bring out the big guns. Pretty sure WWE will do that. Getting it up. Now, of course, please do drop me a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's episode of Raw. Like the video, share the video, and please do subscribe and hit the notification bell. Click the ups and downs on the screen right now, which is for AEW Dynasty. Good grief, was that controversial? But otherwise, my friends, I appreciate you. Have a great pre-WrestleMania week. I will see you in the Luxor Hotel in around about 15 days, whatever the flub it is. Take care, see you soon.